Shalom, shalom. Giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukar Kodash. Double honors to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, safety, much love, and blessing to the occupant across the four corners of the earth that are pushing out this truth and sincerity and putting the life on the line to do so. To you, brothers, I want to say shalom. And this is going to be another addition to the things that were written aforetime, were written for our learning. And in this particular lesson, I'll be going into the account of Job and how he was tried and how he was tested and kept his integrity throughout the whole situation. Now, these things are written aforetime for us to revert back to. So when we're faced with these similar situations that may not be to the level in which he tried our forefathers, but is trying in and overbearing in the society that we live in today. You know, whether it be you losing a job, a car, a family member, a loved one, whoever or whatever the case may be, whatever you're going through in your trial period, you revert back to the scriptures and accounts such as this one in Job that I'm going to go into so that your faith will be built up and so that you can have a reference as to how to take these certain things cheerfully as the scriptures tell you. Okay. We're starting in the book of Judah before I get into the account, just to kind of build up to the lesson. This is Judah chapter 8 and 25. It says, "Moreover, let us give thanks to the Lord our power, which trieth us, even as he did our fathers." Verse 26, "Remember what things he did to Abraham and how he tried Isaac, and what happened to Jacob in Mesopotamia of Syria, when he kept the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother. For he have not tried us in the fire as he did them." Because these things our forefathers went through with make the things that we complain about here in Babylon and go through look very minuscule. Okay, it's not on the level in which he tried our forefathers, in which we know the scriptures tell you you're not going to be tried or tempted above your measure. Roughly paraphrasing. But the things that he do put on us, it's not for us to bitch up and start questioning the Lord or want to fall out the faith and just go into hiding and tuck our tail between our legs. He's trying us so that we'll come out a finished product. Like anything that is of any value, it has to go through a trial period, okay, or a trying process or refining process, or whatever the case may be. And it's the same with us. The scriptures also tell you that the Lord loveth who he chasteneth. Okay, so it says, "For he have not tried us in the fire as he did them, for the examination, Salakia, of their hearts. Neither have he taken vengeance on us, but the Lord doeth scorn them that come near unto him." Yeah, like the scripture I just quoted. The Lord chasteneth who he loveth. And if you do come to serve the Lord, you need to prepare your soul for temptation and things of such. Okay. And it also tells you in, I believe that's either 1st or 2nd Corinthians that basically, matter of fact, I'll see if I can find that scripture, and I'll go back to Judah. Don't want to butcher the scriptures. It's best to just go to it and paraphrase as less as possible. But I believe that's 2 Corinthians 12 and 10, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yep. 2 Corinthians 12 and 10. It says, "Therefore I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecution and distress for Mashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then I am strong." And that's the type of mindset you got to have. in the faith, and trying to, uphold yourself to a certain standard, because these infirmities, these reproaches and necessities and persecutions, they're going to come just like they did our forefathers. All right. So what more us? OK, you think you just going to slide through this thing scot free and not be tried? That ain't how it works. All right. So you have to prepare yourself for these type of things. Matter of fact, I grabbed that too in the book of Sirach, the 2nd chapter. Sirach 2 and verse 1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at the last end. And that's what you're going to see in the account of Job, man. How everything was stripped away from him, and how he got it back. How he was increased at the latter end, man. Everything he got back. I believe it was 100-fold, man. Okay. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou change to a lower state. And that's the thing. That's a very important aspect too, is to have patience. Patience, because that's where your faith lies. If you stay patient and not jump the gun and look into the Lord to bring you out of these certain low situations or these lower states where you are, and just trust upon him and believe that he will make a way and provide, that's the best route to take. Because, Jake out here, they get hasty, they lose a job, and first thing they want to do is go back to the trap, and try to flip a couple of bricks, or, hit a jug, or rob a bank, or, because they don't have any patience, man. When they get changed to that lower state, their first instinct is to go to some carnally. All right. So that's why we being of the faith, we have these scriptures, man, to go back to and reread the things that were written aforetime. Okay. As the lesson, is entitled. Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. All right. So that's when your true character shows, man. In adversity, when you're going through certain things, how you handle it and how you bounce back and how you endure through it, really tells you or shows what type of person you are. All right. Whether you are acceptable, whether you've been refined, whether you've been tried, that's going to be the determining factor, that adversity. All right. So segueing back into the lesson, just wanted to build up into the account in Job. I'm gonna finish off in Judith and get right back into and tie it back into the lesson of Job. All right, this is Judith chapter 8. I believe I was at 27. For he hath not tried us in the fire, as he did them, for an examination of the hearts. Neither have he taken vengeance on us, but the Lord doeth scorn them that come near unto him, to admonish them. Okay, so let's go into the account of Job and see how Job was tried and how he came out, on top. This is Job, the 2nd chapter. Again, there was a day when the Son of the Most High came to present, when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, for whence thou comest? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it. All right. Verse 3, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil. All right, and that word eschew just means to if I'm not mistaken, to avoid, okay, to stay away from. It says, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. So Satan's like, hey, try Job. Take afflict this flesh, send certain infirmities on him and see won't he curse you, to your face. Verse 6, and the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life. So, hey, do what you will with Job. Just, spare his life, or don't, put him to death. Verse 7, so went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore balls from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die. So here it is, his wife even came up against him, telling him, just curse the Most High and die. Okay, you don't have to go through these certain things. You don't have to endure all those things, man. The Lord obviously ain't with you, so curse him and die. Okay. And Job kept his integrity. He didn't do as such. He steadily endured, And if you brothers want to read more into it, Job 1 and 2, or really the whole book of Job, is a good book, but this is just, to give a brief overview of the things that Job had to go through and how he kept his integrity, during the time of adversity and through trying, and he came out on top because the Lord increased him. All right, as it goes into in Job. See if I can skip down to the things that were given back unto Job that he lost. Yeah, so let's skip to Job, the 42nd chapter. Let's go on and see how Job came out, by keeping his integrity all the way to the end. See, was he increased? Because scriptures tell you in Sirach, the 2nd chapter, that I read earlier, if you read further down, it tells you to look at the men of old and see did any ever trust or abide in the Lord's name and was forsaken. So let's see, to answer that question, how Job came out. This is Job 42 and 10. And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends. Also the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then came there unto him all his brethren and all his sisters, and all that had been of his acquaintance before, and did eat bread with him in his house. And they bemoaned him and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. All right. So that was an understanding back then that the Lord did the evil that was brought upon them. Yeah, it was by the hands of Satan, but who gave Satan the green light to go ahead and touch Job? And that's another thing these people fail to realize. It tells you in 2 Samuel, shall the trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Or shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? The Lord deals with both ends of the spectrum. The Lord is not all love, love, love. But that's, another topic for another conversation. But it says, and he comforted him and comforted him over all the evil that the Lord had brought upon him. Every man also gave him a piece of money, and everyone an earring of gold. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than his beginning. All right. For he had 14,000 sheep and 6,000 camels and 1,000 yoke of oxen and 1,000 she asses. He had also 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of the first Jemima, and the name of the second Keziah, and the name of the third Kernhoff. And in all the land were no women found so fair as the daughter of Job, and their father gave them inheritance among their brethren. After this lived Job 140 years, and saw his sons and his sons' sons, even 4 generations. So Job died being old and full of days. So that's how the story of Job ended, man. From him being put through all of those things at the beginning of the chapter, kids dying off, sheep, cattle, being ridden with boils, so on and so forth. He came out on top, man, because he kept his integrity through that trial period, and took the things that came upon him cheerfully, man. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to an elect member or two, giving all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kodash. Shalom.